Hi guys, Brian here from City Back Pain Program. So I'm here to tell you today in this video that back pain is not forever. However, there are some caveats with that. So obviously, one of the biggest issues I see with a lot of people struggling with back pain is that because they've either had it for so long or they've tried quite a few things and nothing really seems to be helping, it's very easy to kind of fall into that pit of despair with it. And kind of think that, I've got this for the rest of my life now. All I can do is have slightly better days and then just have worse days. Or just be living off of sort of painkillers and anti-inflammatories every single day for the rest of your life. I'm here to tell you now, in 99% of the cases, this is not true. In fact, since I've been sort of working as a coach for 13 years, I've never had someone that I couldn't at least get them to 90% of where their back should be, ever. However, there have been people that have really struggled because they're stuck into that mindset that once you've got back pain, I think the general consensus is with a lot of people, they think that once you've got it, that's it, you've got it forever. This is the way your life is now. You're always going to have a slightly weak, dodgy back, and it's always going to be annoyed and angry, every 5 minutes. That really isn't the case. But there are certain things we need to think about. So dealing with back pain long term, I would say that the successful path to it is actually pretty simple. However, that does not mean it's going to be easy and it's going to be straightforward all the way through. So there's two things you need to look at in terms of sort of how you approach things to give you a handle on it and to successfully manage it, not just to get yourself out of pain short term, but to be able to manage it long term successfully so that in next year it's good, 5 years it's good, 10 years, 20 years, it's still good. You don't have these recurring flare-ups of back pain. So two things you need to do, very important before you even think about trying to do any exercises or any programs or exercise, anything like that. Number one, we've got to understand the realms of your back pain. So we need to understand what's caused the injury and what's causing the pain. So something to bear in mind is that a lot of people have got disc bulges, might not necessarily have back pain. There's a lot of people who've got back pain that might not necessarily have disc bulges. So just because you've got back pain doesn't mean you've got a disc bulge. Just because you've got a disc bulge in MRI doesn't mean you're going to be in agony. You might not have even known it was there until you had a scan done. So once we can understand that the structural damage is kind of separate but does go hand in hand with the pain you feel, where you understand that the actual bulge itself, unless it's sciatic pain, like where it makes numbness down one leg, for example, the kind of just sharp pain that you get when you cough, you bend over, that's actually muscular. And what you're feeling is that by there's certain muscles just being continuously overworked, never really get a break, and that's why they complain. That's why they literally go into spasm because they're overworked. So a simple way to kind of think about it is if I said to you, right, at work today or tomorrow, I want you to hold your right arm up all day long. You guarantee you after 5 minutes you're going to be like, oh, it's sore, it's going to be tight, it's going to be painful, I'm going to do it. What you don't realise is that when muscles are out of whack, especially in your lower back, because they're having to hold you up all day long, they've got no choice really to let go at any point. And even when you're lying down or sitting down, they're kind of still holding you together. They never get a chance to have a break, so that's why they're always going to be angry, and that's why they get to that point where they get so angry, you get that sharp pain that kind of takes your breath away, and you can't move, you kind of crippled either on the floor or you're stuck in bed or you can't get up from standing, sitting down. So a way to look at it is that if you have got back pain, is that it's like a bank balance, so that we need to make sure that you've got enough to get through a day without the back going into an episode. So there'll be certain movements and habits and postures that you have that are depleting that bank balance of what the back can handle that you don't realise. And you get into trouble when that bank balance is either getting low, it's at zero, or even worse, it starts to go into like a deficit and becomes overdrawn. And that's when the next day you can barely get out of bed and it's like, oh, I'm going to have a really bad day today. I need to take some anti-inflammatories, some painkillers, and be really careful what I do. It's because what you would have done the day before, you would have been doing things without realising that's depleted that bank. So some things can be obvious, like, for example, say you're moving house and moving furniture, heavy, awkward lifts, maybe repeated over a couple of hours, would have fatigued that back and drained that bank balance the next day. It would be a bit fragile. Could be simple things like, if you've got young kids, pull them out awkwardly out of a car with a safety seat or a booster seat, maybe even like babies in the crib, how you bend over to pick the baby out of the crib when it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, they're screaming their head off. You're not going to be thinking necessarily about, sort of posture at the best of times. Or maybe it's just being sat at work all day and you're sat on a computer and you've got a bad chair with no lumbar support, and every minute that you sit there for the day, it just drains another dollar out of that bank balance. So by the time you get to the end of the day, there's nothing left, or you've overdrawn, and the next day you've got slightly less, until you get to the point where you have an episode of just like crippling pain, and you're on the floor, can't move. So what you need to do is, before you do anything else, you've really got to identify what those movements are. And you've got to take them out and then replace them with what we call more back-friendly or more back-sparing movements, so that we can preserve as much of that bank balance as possible, so that you've got safety buffer for things that are unexpected, but you're not sort of unnecessarily drain that bank balance and keep re-aggravating that back. And it's better having like a cut or a graze or a scab on your arm, and you keep picking it every 5 minutes. You never get a chance to heal, so it's always annoyed. Same with the movements for your back. If you can take out the movements that aggravate it and annoy it, it will start to settle. Same for disc bulges as well. If you can understand what movements have created the disc bulge, you take those out, that disc bulge or herniation, given enough time, will actually heal itself and sort itself out for you, provided you stop irritating it. So that can be the trickiest thing for a lot of people. They're in the mindset that they want to come and see someone and they want a quick fix. Sure is it quick fixes, if you don't understand what you're doing, more often not become a short-term break. If at best it might get of pain for a couple of days or weeks, but then it will come back maybe even slightly worse. So what we've got to do mindset-wise is get into the habit of understanding how you've created that angry back, how you've created the injury, and what are those movements that are keeping it annoyed and keep it aggravated. Take those movements out, let it all start to settle. And then we're kind of, we're on the right path there, because you understand the realms of what annoys the back and what doesn't, what you can and can't do. Once you've got that level of understanding, that bank balance that you've preserved, we can then take out a little bit of that bank balance and invest it in exercises specific to you that help strengthen either where you've got imbalanced muscles or just weakness and stability, or areas that are slightly tighter than others. What are the specific exercises, almost like a jigsaw puzzle? What are the things specific to you that you need to work on to then build that back even stronger, so that bank balance starts to grow? And that's the key then to long-term building a stronger, more robust, pain-free back, is doing the things very specific to you that keep that back happy and stop it from getting aggravated. So back pain is not forever. However, you do have to take your time to understand the problem, understand the mechanics of the problem, how the injuries occurred, what you're doing that keeps aggravating the back, how you can manage those movements, reduce them, replace them with ones that are more back sparing. And then we can start to get into what are the exercises that are going to help you build that strength into that back, make it more robust, make it less painful. But you need that change in mindset at the start, and then you'll get yourself out of trouble. So you've got to stop with trying to find a quick fix every 5 minutes, and just invest some time in understanding the problem, taking some time to really give the back a chance to get, to settle and get stronger. And then we can start to look at making it stronger, and then long term, you can manage it 5, 10, 20, 30 years in a time. You'll still be able to manage it and keep it out of trouble. But it takes that change in mindset initially. You've got to abandon those quick fixes that are magical pills that everyone looks for. So if you're in Sydney and you're sick of dealing with short-term fixes that end up getting you nowhere, or you feel you get nowhere with your back pain at all, and you're ready to take sort of the time to actually understand it and get on the right track for a long-term success, but there to manage the back, keep it stronger, keep it more robust, and keep it pain-free. Obviously, get in touch. I'll put a link below the video, but if not, if you go to brianellicott.com, you should see in the menu, I've got a section there for back pain. Run sessions in Bondi Junction and the CBD, so pretty easy to get to. But you've got to be in the right mindset to not be looking for a short-term fix. Ready to do a bit of work, put a bit of effort in, a bit of time to understand your problem. And we'll get you on the right track, get you out of trouble, but then also, you better manage it then for the rest of your life successfully.